mission, I'm mission. Trying to get it right. Transition, changing the way that I see life. Transition mind. I'm on a mission, trying to get it right. I'm transitioning my life, making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Ooh, ooh. Trying to mission, I'm on a mission. On a mission, I'm trying to get it right. Changing the way that I see life. Transition in my life. On a mission. On a mission. On a mission.
Welcome to Alchemizing Energy. Today we have a special guest. Who did you boycott today? I ran into this lady, this woman on Twitter, X. They have these rooms that they go into, and they have these interesting conversations. I've been in Tariq Nasheed's room, and then I went into this one room, and I actually played a little bit of the conversation on one of my lives, and really with this is when they were talking about the boycotting, and it almost seemed like we were talking about it one day and the next day it was happening. So I don't know how that really it was crazy how that just happened so quickly. But we were talking about doing the boycott. We were talking about Costco. We were talking about it should be Walmart. I was talking about we should get more based on like start like looking into actual black businesses and start looking into that. Next thing you know, I'm looking up and it's everywhere. Hey, they've already started the boycott. People are going into Costco. It made national news. I wanted to introduce to Alchemizing Energy. Who did you boycott today? How are you?
Hello, DJ. If you don't mind me calling you DJ,
Yes,
I'm
that's
doing okay. I'm just getting up and trying to get my day started.
so. You talked about the fact that you have for years been trying to get people to boycott, but a lot of times you fell on deaf ears. Like people just wasn't hearing the whole thing about boycotting. And then it seems like out of nowhere, this time it seems like people were more interested in boycotting, and they did it. Can you tell us about like your that aspect of your life about like wanting you started a website, you tried to get people to boycott. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I initially started excuse me. I initially started using social media 3 days after COVID hit. Before then, I primarily used social media for entrepreneurs starting around 2001. So in 2022, I downloaded Clubhouse and I was just starting to hear all these different conversations. And I went back to what my mother had planted in my head about how she wanted to make sure her dollar, whenever she went into a store like Kimball's or J.C. Penney's or Sears, she wanted to make sure her dollar went to a melanated person, a black person. So I decided to build a website on WordPress on on the 5th of February 2022, and that was the first website that I built, and I had spent $500 to set it up so that each person that joined the group for their state, they will earn a commission of 50%, and the membership was $20 per year. And if they came in as a silver member, they would earn 25%. I wanted to set up a platform that would encourage individuals to share the link and let the numbers grow.
Mhm.
That was not very successful. Only I promoted it on all of my platforms that I use social media wise. I promoted on my profile link, and it fell on deaf ears. So I moved from there in 2022. That website was up for a year, and I set up 50 groups for each of the states so persons could network and share what they were doing. At that time, I was thinking about targeting a business or a product. Since since that first initial launch of the boycott, I have adjusted my thought process based on feedback from persons that I had been around and interacted with. We went in a room one night and they each gave me suggestions, and so I let those suggestions that they gave me mold around in my head, and I decided to set up 60 groups on minds.com, and I wanted to take what they had gave me. They was telling me that folks didn't want to join or understand what the boycott was about. So I said, well, how can I make it simple for them to understand what the boycott is about? Initially, the boycott was to let us gather our numbers first and then strategize on what we want to target. So I kept trying to explain it that way, but it still seemed to be confusing. That's so when I set it up on minds.com, they told me folks didn't want. I had a membership added to it where a person was going to pay, I think it was $1.50, and I was going to give away prizes and gifts just to be a incentive, and I wasn't going to keep the money myself, and so that didn't incentivize folks to want to join. So I went from there to my Twitter profile, and I still have a boycott community set up on my Twitter profile. So I had set up my Twitter profile, Minds.com, and GoDaddy. I built a second website in less than 24 hours, and I set up three different platforms, hoping that if they did not want to join the Twitter community, maybe they would want to join the Minds.com. If they didn't want to put their email address on the GoDaddy website, then I guess it would be no choice. But the GoDaddy website did get a little over 100 email addresses. All you had to do was put your email address into the website, and then I wanted to gather those numbers and then start sending out messages and getting feedback of how we wanted to approach it. So since between the 5th of February 2022, I have readjusted it to only target social media platform, and the six platforms that I posted on my JPEGs for months and months. I mean, I can post content on Twitter up to 90 days. So I posted content up on my profile for 90 days. I opened Twitter Spaces. I made sure promoted it on all of my social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of my groups, fan base, and so I'm trying to cover different platforms. And then later on, I started using StreamYard, but the target when I made the adjustment of the boycott to just target social media, I wanted us to target Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, YouTube, and TikTok. Those six platforms initially, and that was for persons who were not monetized. If they did not want to participate because they were monetized on any of those platforms, then if they could just add their number. If person did not want to boycott, they could at least add their number to the total count. So that would be something that could be shown to the government that we have this many persons who have uh, given a name, and we have 1 million or 5 million persons ready to activate, but it never took off. And when you talked about the boycott with the DEI, I'm not connected with how that got launched. I did post Al Sharpton name in my title uh, for a day, but I don't have any connection with what they're doing from that
Well,
perspective.
you know what is interesting because the conversation that we had the night before, well, actually about a week before, Um, it seems like whatever what people were already planning, it was in that Twitter space. They were talking about boycotting Walmart, and they said Amazon. They said we should go to Costco. Uh, what was her name? What was the chat that we were in? I have
You're
a
talking about
video.
anti-socialite.
Yes, anti-socialite in her chat room. They began to plan. Now, and I'm not sure how much she got the word out, but next thing you know, I'll say like about maybe 3 days later, there was a whole boycott going on of Costco, with everybody going to Costco in record numbers, and not going to Walmart. Like people were like leaving Walmart and then going to Costco.
Well, that's good to know. I'm not in that. I don't do group chats. They did send me a link, but since I've been on Twitter for a little over a year and a half, I don't like to interact in those chats. Um, Too many notifications pop up on my phone or my computer, and it really distracts me from doing my other work. And I'm just not. I don't. I don't interact that way. I like to be able to, talk to you. Like we're
So
talking now.
even though you're not exactly directly affiliated with that, I really wanted to bring you on because of the fact that you were so involved in boycotts. I mean, you
Y- y-
dedicated your whole life to boycotting, and I was trying to get your opinion on on the effectiveness of this boycott, because I mean, you heard about it one day
Yeah.
and then it just died out. So it's like, how effective is this boycott? How effective is boycotting? Does it really work? I mean, in 2024, is boycotting really the way to go? That's really what the subject is.
Okay. If you when you ask that direct question, it depends on how organized the boycott is. Do they have a platform where persons can get a central location of what persons are doing, what actions they're taking? Otherwise, I don't know how they are running their operation for uh, the initiation of the boycott that they have launched. But if
So
it looks from what I'm hearing, oh, go ahead.
what would be considered a successful boycott? Like, how long of a boycott, and what is it that you would say would mean a successful boycott? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, just boycott, just stop using it." Is there like
Yeah.
a time frame? Is there like something that we're asking? What are the actual five, like say, five ways to create a successful boycott?
I My approach and what you're explaining, you answered the question pretty much there, that you have to have what are your demands, how is it set up, how are you going to be able to evaluate if it's having an impact. If you don't have a measuring of something in place to measure whether or not it's having an impact, you 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 telling me that folks started going to Costco doesn't tell me what the number count is, but they may be able to gauge that, and I don't have that information and I don't have that ability. But whoever launched the boycott may have that mechanism in place. They may have something in place where they can say how many persons stopped shopping at Walmart. Was it 500? Was it 1,000? Was it 5,000? Who knows that number?
And is that
So that you
exactly
can
what you
try
were
to.
doing with your software? Trying
But
to
that's
just
why, yeah, that's why I wanted folks to put their email address or join as a member so that I could know the number count, and then they could come into that group and say what they are doing on whenever they felt like doing it. So that would be a encouragement for a collective. Well, I'm gonna click on the link Monday, and I'm gonna type in there what I'm currently boycotting and what way I'm doing it. How am I staying committed? So that's how I wanted to approach it. I'm not quite sure how the Costco boycott is being, managed, but it does. You have to put in place, like you said, what is your demands? My demands were a special field order 15, uh, reparations, cash payments, or land. And then I was going to take suggestions from members as a collective so that we could come to a consensus on any additional demands that we wanted to make as a collective. But that includes without, uh, I don't know I guess I should state it, but human rights, respect, and protection and access to resources. That all falls in the realm of the demands. So by the members coming together and deciding as a consensus, what is our collective demand? Which ones do we have that are the same? We have to be able to evaluate that first. We may all have five different demands that we have. How do we come to a consensus on making the top five or the top 10 demands and saying you have a deadline? If you, I gave a deadline of August of 2024 because I wanted the deadline to be before the election. I wanted the pressure to be applied so that they would come to the table or call a meeting and discuss, have a conversation about the demands that we were making as a collective. But the numbers never grew large enough to launch it. So I'm still boycotting. I still have my boycotts up on my profile. I still have them up on minds.com, and I have added them to a website that I recently built. So I'm going to continue to boycott. I personally started boycotting in December of 2020. I stopped watching all of my sports. I stopped going to fast food restaurants. I don't eat out at fast food, but maybe once in a blue moon. And I stopped eating my favorite pizza, and I stopped watching TV altogether. So that's my individual way that I am doing it for my own personal commitment. And so I hold my own self to make sure that I don't, give in. I've had one week moment where I wanted to watch a Thursday night game in the past few months, but other than that, in the past 4 years, there's only been one time that I felt like giving in. But I'm gonna keep on encouraging it, and I'm definitely gonna research the boycott that you are talking about because I'm so busy right now with other things that I have not had a chance to follow up research since that night that we were together in that Twitter space. But I'm very encouraged by what you are saying on this broadcast.
Yeah. So yeah, there's people that are boycotting Costco. They actually had the news out there. See, hold on. Let me play this real quick. Okay.
It is Saturday. A lot of people doing their shopping, some of them specifically choosing Costco after other companies ditched their diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Our Brittany Miller spoke to shoppers today in Harlem.
This wasn't your average trip to the grocery store. Every purchase had a purpose.
We're going to shop where we're wanted.
100 members of the National Action Network joined Reverend Al Sharpton to shop at Costco in support of the company's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Shareholders recently voted against a proposal to assess the risks.
This is not a boycott. This is a boycott where we are buying into companies that are supporting DEI measures.
This comes days after President Donald Trump signed an executive order to get rid of DEI programs. Related documents on websites like the U.S. Office of Personnel Management are gone. An HBCU conference at Rutgers University funded by the Department of Labor was canceled. The president has also called for all federal DEI staff to be put on paid leave and eventually laid off.
DEI started to gain traction after the killing of George Floyd. Corporations came forward and said, we're going to do diversity. We're going to do this because race needs to be dealt with.
Recently, Amazon, Walmart, McDonald's, and Meta have all rolled back their policies. The latest company to ditch DEI is Target.
I think many of them are realizing that these DEI programs were unfair. We find out when it's actually implemented, it's more like a discrimination.
That's not true at all.
DEI programs basically prevent us from going backwards to a time when white supremacy and white straight men ruled the law of the land. So we are trying to prevent that pushback, which is clearly happening in this administration right now.
And this isn't the end to their call to action. Reverend Al Sharpton says over the next 90 days, they'll identify businesses who have abandoned those DEI policies and boycott them. In Harlem, Brittany Miller, News 4 New York.
What do you care more about, the price of groceries or DEI practices?
The price of
So basically that's what's going on. So what do you think about that? What do you think, what you see so far?
Okay, how do I try to put this in the most nice way? Or
You don't have to put,
I
you don't have to put it in a nice way.
okay, I do not support DEI. Based on my understanding and based on my personal lived experience of discrimination and racism, and I definitely experienced it in the military during my military career. But some persons benefited from DEI, and no matter what you do in life, someone is going to benefit from it. That's just common sense. So, persons who are speaking from that perspective feel that they have known somebody who have benefited from it, but Negroes and Black Americans have not benefited in any way, shape, or form in America for any uplifting. It's just been a farce and a delusion
Mhm.
because they don't want to accept that fact, and that is why Donald Trump is targeting. What did Donald Trump target when he first 8 days in office? He was targeting Tuskegee Airmen history. So Donald Trump's main target is the Negro ancestor history of 246 years. Now there's going to be a lot of casualties of all these other things, and that seems to be
Wait,
a
what did he do
separate
with
fight.
the Tuskegee? What did he do to with the Tuskegee
He
history?
tried to remove it from being taught, being a lesson uh in history that was always being taught in these airmen, I guess airmen pilot schools or whatever. But why would you target something like that? What does that have to do with DEI? It has
And why
nothing
is
to
that
do with
important?
DEI.
Why is he coming? Why is that the first thing you do when you get in office?
That's what make me my antenna. So I'm not just looking at the surface level of different things that he are doing. I'm trying to look at the whole big picture. And so my boycott that I have always focused from in 2022 has been to uplift the Negroes and the Black Americans in America. So we make up 50, a little over 50 million. So we are mainly being shut out of opportunities and treated unfairly. So me hearing DEI don't do anything for me. And when I looked up Al Sharpton name, that's why I pulled back. I cannot support in good conscience DEI because I fully understand that it does not help myself or my community as a collective. It has been a illusion of inclusion because you can always find a way to discriminate if you're in the control and the power position. You're gonna always be able to find a way around doing whatever you want to do in the way that you want to do it. And so I don't let that confuse me. So as far as my opinion about what Al Sharpton and folks who are protesting or boycotting against DEI, that's their personal choice. But that's not my fight. That's not the fight
So,
that I
so
want
do you
to
see,
do.
so you feel like DEI does not actually help the Black community? It's meant for other communities and not the Black community.
Yes, that's I'm going. I looked at somebody had posted a timeline, a post on my Twitter timeline, and it had women and men CEO, white women and men as number one. Um, I think they had. Let me see if I can grab that post uh from my bookmark
Yeah,
because
you can look at that in the
our
meanwhile.
person.
While you look that up, I'm gonna play this so you can get your thoughts on this conversation real quick. I'm gonna play a little bit of this. Go ahead and look for that.
Margaret, he says, I agree with you 100%. Most people are getting a crash course in civics, and it's a hard one to learn via trial by fire.
Exactly. I think Donald Trump is a crash dummy. A crash out. You got the dummy part right.
And him and Elon, I get that they're not just his own personal agenda because again, you got to think about
was a troll. They just switched their name up.
Well,
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping. I'm going back in the bushes. But
I wanted to see what y'all thought about the
Going back in the bushes.
Well, KB said I can't see any.
He said he can't see any but his own, which explains why he didn't see the link.
Yeah.
Everybody need to get their panties out of bunch and come together. Spend your money with black-owned business.
Especially now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, black-owned business. That's it.
With this.
Shit happening.
That's right. Okay, go
Americans
ahead.
built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get. You built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it, bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans.
She got a
for
pause on her.
African.
So I was trying to get your opinion on what you think about that. Like he's basically saying, could you hear that?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back to the screen now. Yeah, I'm. I heard it. I heard it, DJ. I agree. I say that that's my perspective to a certain extent. That I'm gonna just let you. Donald Trump saying that he want the ancestors and those who are American citizens should get priority. That's just human nature. If I go to Germany or Korea, they're not gonna put me priority over the native people. They're not gonna do that. So why should it be done in America? But that's what DEI, in some sense, allows to happen. I looked at my list.
Was it just not happening?
Let me go down this list if you don't mind. Of the
Can
names.
you present your screen?
Yeah, no, I got it on my notepad now. What somebody else posts. I can't verify this, but I'm just gonna use, like I said, I use my life experience of how discrimination and racism has been in full effect from the time that I can remember, from the time I was 18, 15, 12 years old. But here are the list of names who get priority in the order who have taken advantage of DEI. White women and men are number one. Latinos and Hispanics are number two. Asian Americans are number three. Native Americans are number four. Disabled Americans are number five, and veterans are number six. LGBTQ is number seven, and number eight is Black Americans. Now, do we have any way of verifying if this information is factual? I'm cautious whenever I see any information. If I can't verify it, then I'm not going to believe it 100%. Are you there, DJ?
So
I can.
when you say white men, do you mean like LGBTQ white men, or just white men in general?
Well, that the number one they just listed women and white men CEOs.
So how would white men be considered a diversity
hire? You are kind of far away on the volume. I don't know if I don't even see.
I'm sorry. How? I'm sorry. You can't. How would white men be considered a diversity hire?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That's not my lane. That's not my expertise. That's persons who dedicate themselves into politics. I dedicate myself in entrepreneur and boycotting, because I know the power of boycotting. I can't speak on those who know that lane about politics and how all the pieces fit together. And hopefully they are doing their research and staying on top of things and doing checks and balances. But folks don't do checks and balances. Persons just run around speaking from one perspective or another perspective. No, you have to show me data. You have to show me a track record of tracking things on your own, and not going by secondhand or third-hand data. If you are doing your checks and balances, then you are firsthand source. But if you are taking other sources, I cannot 100% believe that. And that is a serious problem with the whole political system in America. It's corrupt. It's corrupt at all levels. Now, can I tell you the exact amount of corruption at each level? No, I don't have all of that information. If I had it in front of me, I would dissect it because that's just how my brain works. I'm going to dissect and analyze any information that I get. So folks have to do the homework has to be done. The hard work has to be done for folks to verify what they're saying out their mouth. If you can't show me how you can verify what you're saying out your mouth, I really can't trust it 100%.
So I was on this panel, and it was a lot of older women on this panel that are pretty much not oblivious to what's going on with the whole FBA movement, and I was showing them some of Tariq Nasheed's talking points. I wanted to get an idea of what you thought about some of these things that he's saying. I'm gonna play a little bit. Let's go.
Who's saying, "Oh, that's some Hotep shit."
Wow.
These tethers running these blogs. Remember, Shade Room, Gossip, the Media Takeout, World Star. None of these people really promoted our films. They promote all types of degeneracy, and all of these websites were run by tethers. These were some of the people who were neglecting our history and then denigrating it. You understand what I'm saying? So y'all don't even have the same respect for the lineage and the ancestry that made a way for you to come over here and live and thrive. You don't even have respect for that. The same respect that we have respect for it because that's our family. You see?
Who don't have respect?
Also, we have so much respect for people's struggle. We try to assist other people. We went to other people's countries trying to help them get it in. We went over to Ethiopia trying to help them get out. We helped out certain African nations get their independence. We were writing some of the charters for some of these African nations, going up to the UN, stomping for them. We had people like Malcolm X going around the world trying to stomp for people.
About this, the whole FBA Tariq Nasheed movement.
Are you talking to me, DJ?
Yes, ma'am.
What was it? You was kind of low.
What do you think about the whole FBA and Tariq Nasheed movement with that whole movement?
I do my best to speak from an unbiased perspective. I first heard about Tariq Nasheed in August of 2020, and it only took me about 5 minutes to click away. I knew that my mother had warned me about that type of person, and since that time period, I have caught bits and pieces of posts and comments that persons make about him, and I don't click into his rooms. But a couple of nights, the devil told me to click on his title, and I listened for a few minutes, and I don't agree with the word tether. I do understand that America operates by utilizing immigration as a weapon since 1865. This is nothing new. That has been their number one weapon from the time slavery ended. And folks who come here maybe don't be able to analyze it and understand it from that beginning, because they are each person as a human being. We each talk from our perspective of what is impacting us day-to-day life, or what benefits us, what is our self-interest. So yes, Tariq Nasheed can speak about some of the things that he said is correct, but as far as the tether part, and it all boils down to how a person decides to say something, how they decide to deliver it. Me, myself, I try to be respectful of another person's feelings and say things in the way that I would want someone to talk to me. So I can't control another human being, but being that I went into the military and I was put into a leadership position 18 months after joining, I had to learn how to interact with all different nationalities. That was a big adjustment for me. It was a foreign environment. I was not used to being around so many different ethnicities. So I grew up knowing that it was important for me to demand respect and give respect. So I've always lived my life that way. So nothing has changed at this late date. But each individual has to make that choice for themselves. Maybe Tariq Nasheed has not done that. I don't know this human being, but I do not agree with him, and I do not follow him. And you are judged by your character. You are judged by what you say and do. And that's just life. That's how we keep checks and balances in place. So persons who feel they have made their judgment of him, that's they can do that. We all do that. So if they feel a certain way, I can't tell them not to feel that way. I know why I feel the way about him that I do, and I keep it moving. I don't listen to anything that he have to say. I don't take it in, and unless he come at Negro, I don't have a problem with him. But he does offend a lot of people, but I can't fight all of those battles. That's why I try to focus on boycotting so that it could help the collective of us and help not only in America but around the world. So I'm going to continue to focus on boycotting and hope to encourage folks to boycott because that is the answer. Politics is not the answer. Arguing back and forth is not the answer. The oligarchy control our government since 1981. The other two times was slavery, and the second time was the Industrial Revolution. We are caught in a way of thinking that we are going to bring about change by voting and arguing and marching and protesting. That is not going to work because the oligarchy have controlled this government, and we don't know who those members are. We just see the politicians, but we don't see the members who are part of the oligarchy. And there's only two oligarchies in existence right now, America and Russia. So that tells you most of what you need to know. So I can't thank you enough for help for inviting me and trying to shine. You are the first person that has even supported what I have tried to do since 2022. Like when I'm on Twitter, I sent individual persons a DM message with the link directly to them, the Pan Africans and all the persons who are who are my people who are descendants of Negro slaves. I sent all of them the direct link to try to let that be a mechanism to close the divide. And I sent it to them twice. Some people I sent it to 3 or 4 times. Can you imagine how long it took me to send that direct link to all of those persons? And I only have 40 people in that community. And I started that community in 2023. In 2023, we in 2025, and they rejected my link. I said that could be a way that we could come together, but nobody wants to. Not a whole lot of folks want to support it. So all I can do is put the information out there.
Can you say? Can you put the link? Can you share the link in the chat for me, please?
I most certainly will. Thank you. I got it right here on my notepad, and that is the bottom line, DJ. I know we can include politics. That's why I have those groups set up on minds.com. I have a group for each state so that we can network and post information to help keep each other informed. So I'm not just focusing on boycotting. I'm trying to focus on organizing and knowing your numbers. Excuse me. Because we can't get the first base if we don't know our numbers and we're not organized. So we're just going in circles until we commit to that and make a firm commitment to devote much time as humanly possible. Otherwise, I don't operate in things not being organized. I guess you can probably say I went from my home, my growing up years to another controlled environment. I'm all about being organized.
Well,
And
if
being able to
you were in
track
the
what we're
military,
doing.
that's kind of what they train you up to be very organized.
Yeah, and my mother was that way. When we had to wake up in the morning, we had to know what we were going to do that day, or she would find something for you to do. You couldn't just be willy nilly. You had to
Right.
be able to have something productive to do. Now you're going to have some downtime and some kid time, but your day is going to be organized. It's going to show. It's going to have something that you can point to that you got done that day. You didn't just wake up and walk around and twiddle your fingers. No, I have been, I guess I can say I've been programmed, or my mother, programmed me to be uh, uh, organized and be in a orderly way. So that's what I want for all. I want each of us to encourage each other in that way because that's how we're going to make progress, and so that we can put things in place that can help the next generation. That's how I was able to be successful because so many persons in the military pulled me to the side and they talked to me in my ear and they helped give me suggestions. And then I was able to put those suggestions into into action, and then I was able to correct myself where I needed to correct myself and build on that. So, but the boycott.
I'm a software engineer. I want to check out your program, and I'm gonna see. I do user experience. Sometimes it could be just a matter of a design. That how you have it laid out. That could make people just not sign up. So
Okay.
I could check it out for you and see where it might be going wrong at.
I definitely want to try to tap your brain for how you set up your intro. I can learn it. So with you having a background in engineer, I have a background in telecommunications. That was my job in the military. My job was to send messages around the world. I did 2 assignments at the Pentagon. I was in Berlin when the wall came down. I was at Fort Bragg for 2 assignments and a few others. So if we combine our background experience, we should be able to solve a lot of the problem and getting around the government to a certain extent. Not completely remove it, but cut it in half. Probably be able to cut it in half. And so that's what my focus and my objective is.
I was in the Air Force. And I was stationed at Bowling Air Force Base, and I worked at the Pentagon as well. So,
oh, congratulations!
I used to go back and forth to the Pentagon every morning.
Yeah, I learned a lot, and I like my job in the military. But I would have never thought, where's my darn link? I know I copied that during. Let me go to myminds.com. I just looked at it before I came over to your broadcast because I was going to ask you, could I put it in the chat? And whenever I do broadcasts, and I do broadcasts 24 hours a day, sometimes I'll be responding to persons who have disrespected me. I do not tolerate disrespect from anyone. I am a very peaceful person, but if you disrespect me, I am going to make time to respond to you. And a lot of times I keep my rooms on StreamYard going 24 hours a day. And they are up in Twitter hallway and on YouTube 24 hours a day. They never go down. And so that's what I use it for that purpose, and I use it to play the audio for my boycott. It plays over and over. It just loops around and keeps playing. Sometimes when I'm doing live broadcasts, that's playing most of the time until I take it down. So I try to use all the different platforms, but I definitely would take any suggestions or input that you have, because I'm not giving up on this. I have made a promise and commitment to continue to preach boycott until I die. We may lose the window. We may lose the window to boycott, depending on all of these changes that are getting ready to come about with AI and what was the other one? They're going to change over the money system. A lot of jobs are going to go away, and so we have to take advantage of this opportunity right now, and because it may just close up. It may just close up at any time. It could close up in the next year or the next 2 years. But it was simple. I want to go back and try to answer your question more clearly. My approach, and everybody can do this. It could take 10 people, and we can link them all together. It don't take if I don't, just because I don't understand what Al Sharpton is doing doesn't mean that I can't support it. I can support it by posting it on my social media platforms. I can support it by having a conversation with my family members and friends, and that don't take a lot. That's not asking too much. I have not had a chance to do the research that I need, but I did put it in my room title. I need to make time in the coming days to make sure I put it in my groups, because I'm working on my other websites. I'm building about 5 different websites right now. Plus, I'm still trying to.
A simple thing, it sounds like to me, is who did you boycott today? And then they could click a name of a company, or they could type a name of a company in, and then they could put their email address in, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Just so you can get a count of how many people boycotted. If they want to add more information, you could do a survey, send it to their email, and then you could collect that information. Say, hey, are you interested in doing a survey about the boycott? How'd it go? And it could just be a feedback loop like that, just simple as one page. It doesn't have to be. See, sometimes when we build our websites, we can make them too complicated and we lose our audience. But if we just say, "Who did you boycott today?"
Well,
and they,
no, the websites are not just for the boycott. No, the websites are different monetization interests that I have that I want to
right. So,
monetize
no,
at the same
no,
time doing. But the
listen.
group that I put, the link that I put in your chat is to a direct group, and
Right.
all they got to do is add a
I
profile.
don't
But
see
if
the.
they
I
don't
don't
want
see
to
the
add
link.
that one, I can add. I should probably put the one for Twitter too. But I'm trying to keep it, keep the numbers in one central location. So I'm gonna direct the 40 people that are in the boycott on my Twitter profile. I'm going to direct them to the link on minds.com because I want all the persons who join to be in one central location so we
But
can know
no,
the
if
number
you
count.
listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's great to have a whole idea with a website full of different stuff, but just to collect people's emails and just to get them started on having access to them outside of like these platforms, just a quick "Who did you boycott today?" and then they could choose the company and say or type in the company you added to the database, and then people be able to and just start off from there and capture their email right off the rip. That can make that could be the difference between someone joining your website and not. Sometimes it's a matter of like if you make it really simple, like who did you boycott today? That's a pretty catchy name. Who
Well,
did you boycott?
that's
I mean, I
exactly
get
what I
that you
had.
have out,
That's
huh?
that's the GoDaddy website that I set up. All they had to do was put an email address in 5 minutes and be done. That's
No,
how
I'm
it was
saying
set
that.
up
No,
on
I'm saying that.
WordPress.
Did it ask them who did you boycott today, and were they able to pick out who they wanted to boycott, like pick a company?
No, what I have tried to emphasize is gather the numbers. Then when you join, you are inside the network. Then you post whatever you are doing individually, and then we will gradually see how a lot of us are doing the same thing. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
see,
That
that's
group, if they click the
it's
link,
all about website development and all this stuff is really about user experience. And the quicker a person can feel like they've started doing whatever it is that they set out to do on that website, and the faster they can click on there, because people attention span is very short. So if it has a website with a bunch of things going on it, you can lose people. But if you make it really simple, where they call to action, did you do this? Pick up the company, boom. Then it captures the email, sets up the account, and now you're already in there, and the people don't even really realize that they've even signed up to their account. You know what I'm saying? They
no,
they don't even realize that
I
they've
don't,
signed in.
I don't, I don't think you understand how I have set it up. I have put on the GoDaddy. It was a simple website. It didn't have a whole lot of anything else, but I had two links to two organizations that I was supporting. So I just put their information link on my page. But the whole website just had one page that broke down what was the reason for the boycott, what were the demands, what were the target 6 social media platform, and all you needed to do was put your email address in there. And then I was going to start communicating with the members who join, and then take their feedback. But I have that website is gone. That GoDaddy website is no longer up, just like the WordPress. I have made it more simple by just they click the link and and join as a member to this group link that I have in your chat. And then in that group, once they join, they can say what they're doing at that time, so everybody will get a feel of what each other are doing. But the main target is the social media platform. I know we have suggestions as far as boycotting banks, boycotting Walmart, Target, and all these other different things, products and services. I want to try to make it as simple as possible, something that we can gauge better. We can't. I don't think it's. I think it will be kind of hard to gauge. Say how many people stop shopping at Target. If we don't, we can judge. We may be able to gauge it to a certain extent, but I wanted to try to do something that could have the most immediate impact, and that's social media because we use it every day. We don't shop at Target every day. We don't shop at Walmart every day. So I said, what can we as a collective Target as a collective and target it, and it's going to have an impact because we are used to using it every day. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I picked those 6 social media platforms. If they don't work, then we just add to it. And then we can add some of those other suggestions like banks and Walmart and Target. They can be a supplement to the main target
I
that
doubt
we
if
do.
people are. If we start boycotting social media, then how do we even keep in touch with each other?
Because we're gonna be in the group. We're gonna be in that group communicating on a regular basis. And what I was
Before you
saying,
could probably have such a goal like that, I would just start with a basic site that actually just collects information on who people are boycotting, who they've stopped going to, and then collecting that information. And then once you get your group to a certain point, then you could take that group and say, okay, for like 1 month, we're going to do Facebook, just to test the thing out. The whole objective is to collect the information on how many people are willing to do it, how many people aren't. I mean,
that's
but
what I agree with you. That's what I was saying. My when I was explaining it, I said, we're not talking about activating right now. Right now, we're just gathering the numbers and getting feedback from each person that want to participate. Then once we get an overall, census of what suggestions that folks make, then we can set up a activation date and say how long we want it to last. A 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. But we can't jump to all of those things until we get the first base and get the numbers up. I have to gather the numbers, whether it's 10 people, 1,000 persons, or 2,000 persons. None of those other things can be evaluated because the numbers are not there yet. So I
how
have
how 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 um how long do you think there? Okay, do you think that this was a photo op with the Al Sharpton Costco thing? Because I heard about it one day and that was it.
yes,
Are they?
DJ, you see, that's what I was saying to you at the beginning of your broadcast. How do you measure it? Was it a photo op for a for
The news?
I guess I don't know however they want to put it. It was a photo op for trying to inspire people that they were really doing something, that they were going to have an impact on forcing Donald Trump to change his mind about DEI. When persons we you probably understand this also. When somebody is in charge, when they are in power, you have to apply enough pressure to make them want to come to the table and negotiate and make a different decision. Well, you're not going to force them to make a different decision if you cannot measure your actions of what type of impact it's having, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I can't. Al Sharpton, hopefully his team and everyone who launched that they have put something in place to measure the impact, and then they can stand on that. They can call a conference and speak directly to Donald Trump and say, Donald Trump, we have 2 million persons that stopped shopping at Walmart and started getting a Costco card. We can show you the data. We're not going to just go before the microphone and tell you something, and we don't have anything to back it up. You see what I'm saying?
And that's what I think, that we become a laughing stock after a while.
Yeah.
Here they go protesting again. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
That's
I
right.
think that's what we like kind of risk doing when we kind of put these things together, and it kind of goes off into infinity, and we hear about it 1 minute and it's gone the next.
Yeah,
That's
but I
just
want to. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Mhm.
I want to go back to what suggestions you made. I definitely need to tap your brain, and I may not have what I need in place right now with the Minds Group. It don't take me but a few minutes to build a single page website and put a survey like you said, or whatever suggestions that anyone have really. But the main focus has to be gather the numbers. That has to be the
I
main focus.
honestly think, who did you? If you just create a regular basic, like, what's it called, a jot form with the thing? Who did you boycott today? That's what you've been on everything as, right? Create a website called "Who Did You Boycott Today," and then you to get a jot form, let people be able to sign their email. People are used to jot forms nowadays.
I don't know
Um,
what that is. I've never heard of it.
or a Google form. It's just a form that you fill out, and you just have two things in there, and then all they
Well,
got to do
how do you
is
link it
type.
to your website? How do you integrate it with your
That's
website?
I have to sit there and show you how to do that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Why I'm gonna tap your
That's a
brain, 'cause
whole class.
I can follow the instructions, so you don't have to. One good thing I did take web design in college a little bit, and being in the military, I had to
You
deal
don't
with
even
it a
need
little
no
bit.
web design. You don't need no web design.
So
It's
yeah,
already
if you
done.
can
It's
if you can
already
write
been
it out,
created.
I can follow it. Yeah, if you can write it out, I can follow
What you
it. So I
do is
don't
you
want
have
to take
to
up too much of
purchase.
your time.
Right, you just have to get that domain name and point it to that page, and just collect data, and then you go from there. You say, okay, I got X amount of people that say that they want to boycott Costco. You have their emails. Then you can direct them a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? The whole
Yeah.
objective is collecting information. That's all this is. Facebook, YouTube, Gmail, Google, all Google is collecting data.
Well,
Period.
that's what I would.
All websites is a database. So if we
Yeah,
once we
that's what
understand that, then we okay. Well, what's the quickest way I can get this person's email? If I can get your email, then I could do a lot. With that information, I could send you all kind of stuff. I could if I can get your phone number. So then now we're on a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
anyways,
I definitely.
this was like a great live. I really I put your link. I want people to check that out. Her link to
I definitely
to her thing.
apply what you just explained, and I don't mind trying. I try both of them. I don't mind putting up multiple platforms, because somebody may be more comfortable using one platform over another one. But I don't mind extending myself to that level. So the suggestion that you have given is definitely something that I definitely want to apply and put it into action right away, because we're in a crisis mode, and time is not on our side, and it has to get implemented, and action has to be taken as quickly as possible. This is not something that we can take baby steps on. We have to start. I just want to do whatever it takes to encourage anyone to support it. Even if you don't want to activate, just add your number. Just add your number to the count, and then that will make a difference when I can take a screenshot and say, politician, we have this many persons that's in a boycott group that's ready to activate if you don't meet 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5 demands. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like so once you get the people, then you can create the platform around the people, and then when a person like Al Sharpton is doing that, you can approach them and say, hey, I got a platform to be able to counter protesters. You can send them to your boycotts, and then if they sign in here, you have your own boycott of, like, whether it be Costco or Walmart or whatever, and then you'll have an actual data set that you can be able to present. That's all people like Sharpton
Yep.
trying to throw these events and put together these protests. That's all they need is a platform. So to help them to measure it. So sometimes you have to kind of do the work and bring it to them, and then they could implement it. But mainly, I just want to thank you for your time. I want you guys to please check out her page. Who did you boycott today on Twitter? Any last words that you want to say before we close this live out?
Oh, thank you again, DJ, and I'm gonna definitely whenever you have the time for us to get together, and let me get the suggestions that you have made in place as soon as I can put them in place. And I also take into account what you said about Al Sharpton and his DEI. I would definitely readjust my thinking. See, that's where communication comes in. We may be far apart initially, but if we don't come together and talk, we can't see how we can meet in the middle and come to a consensus. So I appreciate.
This is really a service that you're trying to offer, so it doesn't matter what you think about what they're doing. It's just a matter of, okay, this is a boycott. You need data for that boycott. Well, here's a platform for you to collect the information on who actually was a part of your boycott. How long is it going to last? How long did it last? Maybe a message board for people to communicate on that are in the boycott, and kind of keep it like real simple.
Yeah, I mean, thank you again. We definitely can talk more when you have time, and I take every suggestion that you have made and put it into action as quickly as I can. And thank the audience for being willing to take time to listen to the broadcast. I hope you have a good day and look forward to us talking more in the coming days.
All right, thank you so much. That shouts out to Alchemizing Energy audience. Shouts out to Who Did You Boycott Today. Please check her out on Twitter. Much love, everyone. Peace.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. My friend, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright from darkness to light.